Good morning, Jennifer here. I titled this video Being Grateful and Dealing with Anger, 5 Steps to Getting Started, because I was just in a challenge group called The Vortex. We basically took 2 months out and we decided to work really hard on personal development. That's kind of why I'm doing this video. It's my final assignment is to do a video and share with the world what I learned and what I did. And my personal development goal was to deal with some anger and some guilt that I had in my life that was kind of holding me back. So today I'm going to go over 5 steps that I use to kind of get started in this journey. And the reason I say get started is I think that as I went through this process, and maybe other people when they go through processes of personal development, that you can really kind of go down a rabbit hole of like, this is what I need to do, this is where I should be going, and really just get distracted on all the steps you could be taking. So I think instead we should just try to pick a few simple things and just do them. Not necessarily worry about, is this the right way to do it? Is this the perfect way to do it? Should I be doing more? Just grab a few things and do them and work on being a better person. So some of these are going to be essential oils because I am an oiler. Some of them are going to be supplements, and some of them are going to be completely not related to Young Living. They're just going to be things you can do. So the first thing that I did when I got started was I sat down and I really thought about what I wanted to work on, which was some mom guilt, some anger, and I got this book. It's called Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. So I kind of went through here, and I am one of those people that has to read a book front to back before I really feel like I can use it, which sometimes holds me back. But so I read through it and I was a little confused, and then I realized that it's more of a reference than like a reading book. So I found guilt, and I found the oil that I should be using is Clarity. So instead of having that book and being overwhelming, I got myself a little notebook and I wrote down guilt. The other side of guilt is deserve. So if you're feeling guilt or you don't feel like you deserve things. And my mantra that I was supposed to use is I learned from all of my life's experience. So instead of being guilty about what happens, learn from it. And they said to put that Clarity oil right here on your spleen line. So if you're familiar with Chinese medicine or acupuncture, they believe that your organs are connected throughout and that emotions can affect those organs and can cause disease. So I did that for a little while. I put Clarity on my spleen line, and I said I learned from all of my life's experiences every time I did it. And it recommends that if you're really trying to overcome something, you do it very frequently throughout the days. So I did that. I had a really great emotional release. I think as women, we know that sometimes you just need to cry some stuff out to deal with it. So that's kind of what I dealt with that. So that was really big. Clarity Essential Oil Blend from Young Living. That was the first step. The second step I worked on was a gratitude journal. So I found this cute little book at, I think, Office Max when they were doing the back to school stuff. I picked it up because I had intentions on doing a gratitude journal, but I have lots of good intentions and sometimes things just don't happen. So when I started this Vortex journey in October, I was like, that's it. I'm grabbing this book. I'm doing my gratitude journal. I think this has made a huge difference. And if you are part of those thankful November things where like you post what you're grateful for every day in November, I think that you probably also have noticed a little bit of a shift in your life. I truly believe that if you focus on negative, you get negative. If you focus on positive, you'll get more positive. And I really started thinking about this a few years back. I was just in a really negative place in my life, and I started listening to more like Zig Ziglar. Decided that anytime I was in the car, I was going to listen to Zig Ziglar, something like that, something positive and uplifting instead of negative news or music that was degrading. And it really changed my life. So this gratitude journal has been really great. Just making sure that I write down and I sit down, even when I'm in the crankiest of moods, and there were days that I very sarcastically wrote in this, I'm grateful for the socks on my feet. I'm grateful that I was able to eat today. But really, just pointing out all those things can really help you bring focus that those really are things to be grateful for. Not everyone has that stuff. So I think that made a huge difference. And like I said, this is something that I spent $1 on this. So this is something anyone can do to get started, to just kind of working on being in a more positive space in your life. Okay, so the next thing I did, that clarity thing, I did that. I felt like I had a release, that I was kind of moving on from there, but I felt like I had to take it to another level. So I felt like I was restricting myself from doing what I needed to do. And so I looked that up, and it came up with peppermint, and talks about restriction. The opposite of restriction is mobility. It says, I'm open to new experiences is the mantra. And you put that on your mandula. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I looked up another one with peppermint, and it said failure. So if you're feeling failure, the opposite of that is unfoldment. And I accept growth. And that one really kind of spoke to me. I accept growth, especially I'm going through this personal growth thing. I feel like a lot of times I do the work for personal growth, but there's just part of me is just holding back and not letting me do it. So, that's you put on your thymus. So that was another one that I liked. So I started doing that, the peppermint, on the back of my brain and on the front of my neck here. And I accept growth, and I am open to new experiences. And another one that I kind of had so the guilt was about my daughter. She doesn't live with me. She's on the other side of the world, or on the other side of the country, sorry, in California. I'm on the East Coast. And so it said to put lavender on your stomach, and I embrace all of life's experiences. So just kind of owning that this is just an experience that I'm going through. It's not the end of the world. So those were the next few ones, and I really like those because those are starter kit oils. So when you sign up with Young Living and you get your first bundle of oils, you get peppermint and lavender. So you can start working on this emotional release stuff without having to make like huge investments into all of these blends and emotional stuff. So again, we got the $1 gratitude journal. We have like a $15 and a $10 bottle of oil, and we can start working with our mantras and doing stuff. So another kind of thing that I wanted to work on was abundance, like this thought of bringing abundance to me and bringing healing in. So one of my leaders suggested that we put reminders on our phone to pop up so that we're remembering to do our mantras. Because yeah, like in the morning, maybe you're doing your stuff in the morning, you're doing it right before bed, you're thinking about it. But it's kind of poopy to think about 16 hours of a day when you're awake, you're not really focusing on this. So I set a reminder on my phone at 1 o'clock for a mantra to pop up. So I sit, and if at 1 o'clock I'm busy, I don't acknowledge it. I leave it up in my notifications so that when I finally have time to sit down and be peaceful and think about it, I'm still doing it. I'm not pushing it to the side and blowing off that reminder for the day. So I have a reminder set on my phone to say a mantra and to think positive thoughts at 1 o'clock every day. So it's not just at morning and at nighttime that I'm doing these. So at this point, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm having some breakthroughs in my business. And I also felt like I really just needed to kind of declutter. That's one of the things that they talk about in abundance, with abundance, is that you have to have room for abundance. So if you're holding on to all these negative things, there's not room for positive things to come in. If you're holding on to all this junk around your house, there's not room for new things to come into your house, right? Like, we're not on an episode of Hoarders here. We're not just going to keep making room. And I really thought about that. I really wanted to work on decluttering my life. So I've been donating a lot of stuff to like Goodwill and thrift stores around here. We moved, so I've been trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. We were living on a boat, so we were doing a little bit of a minimalistic stuff. But I really wanted to like take that into my body too. I think that when we are guilty, maybe especially as women, I'm not a man, so maybe men do the same thing. We take it out on our bodies. So we eat like crap. We treat our bodies like crap. We don't take care of ourselves because we're not worthy. We're feeling guilty. We're feeling like we don't deserve it all. And one way to kind of refresh your body is to do a cleanse. So that was like the last step that I've just been doing is I just started a cleanse. I did another video about it, so I'm not going to talk about the details. But there are a lot of good reasons to do a cleanse. One, because you're showing yourself that you are worth it. You're taking care of your body. You're doing the supplements to kind of energize your body. It's going to energize you because you're cleaning out that junk. Your body's better apt to take in the nutrients you have. Also, it's making space. So it's that energy work for the universe of, hey, I'm making space for better things in my body. Not to say that I'm kicking that stuff out to put in more bad stuff. That's not what I'm doing here. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Just 5 steps just to get started. Like I said, when I research things, I can go down a rabbit hole and never put anything into action because I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this perfect. I need to do. So here's just 5 easy steps, 5 easy things that I did to get started. Again, I had all this stuff on hand, so I did not buy anything. So you can use what you have on hand, or you can get started with a premium starter kit to get your lavender and peppermint. Frankincense is in there. It's another good one. So I'm just going to go over my 5 again real fast. Clarity essential oil on my spleen with saying mantras. My gratitude journal, which is my number 1. You guys should just get on that right now. I did lavender and peppermint with some mantras about that stage in my life. I did the phone reminder to stay positive throughout the day. And then I'm doing a cleanse in my guts and a cleanse of my house and my environment. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that helps at least one person. Let me know if you need any help getting started with the oils, and please get started with that gratitude journal.